morning, fellow Toastmasters. I will assiduously work towards completing my 5th speech today. The majority of my working career has been with the federal government. I have worked with 2 interior agencies. I've held several positions as I have worked my way up through the ranks of government. Some where I've supervised employees, and mostly I've been supervised by others. In reclamation alone, I have worked under 5 senior executive service directors and been supervised by 9 managers. I have been exposed to many leaders who have exhibited different leadership traits, some good and some not so good. I have worked in one area that has really exposed me to a lot of leadership traits, and that's working under the Equal Employment Opportunity Office or civil rights. When you work with disputes and have to try and resolve conflicts, you will see some unbecoming behaviors get exposed during those conversations. I want to share with you today how not to be a weenie leader. This is the title of my speech. I stole this information from an executive government article that was published in January 2014. January 2014. Do these leadership traits exist today? Yes, they do. I really resonated with this article because I have been exposed and subjected to these types of behaviors. So let's get started. I want to share with you 9 traits of a weenie leader. A weenie leader will, number 1, make a date-specific promise and then ignore it. When called on that promise, they act as if they didn't make it. Number 2, they hide when they have to deliver bad news. And if they can't deliver bad news in person, they'll do it in an email. And sometimes that email is delivered on a Friday afternoon. Number 3, they disappear when the hard stuff has to be done. Number 4, they keep people waiting with no indication as to when they're going to get back to them. Number 5, they set easier performance standards for themselves than they do for their team. Number 6, ignore rules by which the little people have to abide. Number 7, they treat people better with more power than they do those with less power. And they view the world and the atmosphere with the lens of those who do have more power. And number 9, they never fail to ask themselves, what's in it for me? Do these traits sound harsh? Yes, they do. And I've always wondered where these traits got developed. I know that we are all under pressure. We are doing more with less. There are deadlines that need to be met, and sometimes it's challenging to meet these deadlines through the people that you lead. And sometimes I think maybe these traits are more prominent as you get higher up in the ranks and you get more responsibilities. Leaders obviously develop these leadership traits somewhere and somehow during their career. So how can you avoid becoming a weenie leader? Do the opposite of these behaviors. Keep your commitments and promises. Communicate in person. And be upfront and honest with your employees. If you have to deliver bad news, don't do it in an email or in writing unless it's absolutely necessary. Be a steward leader. In other words, support your employees. Provide them the time, the support, the resources, the equipment they need to do their jobs efficiently and effectively. And make sure that you give them credit for the work and praise them for their efforts. Don't keep people waiting. And if you have to keep them waiting, give them a reason for the delay and when you're going to be able to get back to them. That is just common courtesy. Work on performance standards together. If you both work on performance standards together, you know what the expectations are going forward. And make sure that those expectations are realistic. Respect everyone for who they are and what they bring to the table, and not just because of the level of the position that they hold. Lastly, don't ask what's in it for me. Rather ask what's in it for the good of the employee. the team, the organization, and the mission. In my working career, there are 4 leaders that I have really admired because of their leadership traits. One was in the private sector. Her name was Kathy Diarone, and she was probably the first lady that I got exposed to being a true leader. There was Edna Ramey and Hank Drews, who I worked with at the National Park Service, and there was Dean Teasdale, who I work with today here at the Bureau of Reclamation. What did these leaders have in common? They took risks. They respected their employees. They capitalized on their employee skills, and they provided opportunities to help them grow. They respected them. They supported their employees through failures and mistakes. They defended their employees. They were open and honest with the feedback that they gave them, and they gave it to them in a caring and encouraging way. They recognized their employees for the work that they did, and most importantly, they made the work environment a fun place to be. The Toastmasters organization teaches its members how to develop leadership skills. I believe that we are all leaders. However, if your goal in life is to become or to go into a true leadership or supervisory position, make sure that you do not become a weenie leader. Instead, become a leader that somebody you can look up to and respect. Be encouraging and trusting, and share your expertise and the mistakes that you make with others. Most importantly, watch your behavior. Actions speak louder than words. Rest assured, people will watch your behavior. So make sure that your behaviors are in a favorable vein. I leave with you 3 quotes from a Forbes magazine entitled 100 Best Leadership Quotes. And I picked out 3 that I thought were very telling to my message. The first one is, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is about growing others. Jack Welch. Become the kind of leader that people follow voluntarily, regardless whether you have a title or position. And this is my favorite one, and this sums it up. The growth and development of people is the highest calling of leadership. And that was from Harvey Firestone. Thank you.